Okay, now that we've got our basic golf game created, we can add some bells and whistles. The first thing is we can open up the painting and clip art palette, and using the painting tools we can create a flag. So if I use some sort of a medium tooltip and then this black pen that allows me to draw with a straight line, I'll switch to a color that's different and distinct from the whole. So for instance, white. Draw a white line for the pole. Make a flag. Make sure that you connect the flag to the pole so that it is a completely closed triangle. Then switch to the fill tool. You can fill in those two little areas and we have a flag. Can switch to another color. Just use my freeform drawing tool and draw in hole 1. There we go. That's a flag. Now I can also add in some sort of an obstacle. So let's see how I'll do that. I'll need to make another turtle. I can switch to my singles over here and find any obstacle. I can use something like a mountain or a hamburger, anything, whatever makes sense to you. Put that object on top of the turtle so that it's wearing it. Again, if you forget and click somewhere else, just Control-click and remove that. You only want the object on the turtle. Set that obstacle up anywhere so that it's kind of in the way. And what we need to say is that if the ball ever bumps into this, then it's going to deflect. Okay? So I need to open up my turtle backpack for the ball. And I need to switch to a new area. So look at the bottom of the T1 backpack where it says Rules. Switch to Rules. You'll notice there's a field called On Touching. So in On Touching, let's say that if we bump into another turtle, we'll, I don't know, right turn by maybe something like 60 degrees, 90 degrees, up to you, and go forward maybe 50 steps. Okay? So if I put the ball here, and let's switch to where I am headed directly east, so that's about 90 or so, and let's putt, 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 putt. You'll notice that I hit the mountain and I deflect it off. Okay? You can adjust those numbers as needed. All right. Let's close up the backpack. So now I've got a flag. I've got an obstacle. What else can I add? Well, I can add some sort of a musical sequence into the win procedure so that I hear something kind of fun and musical that indicates that I have won. You could also probably add something into the water trap like wah, wah, wah. Totally up to you. Okay, let's do this. Let's click on the musical notes, move into the workspace. Here is my keyboard. I'll turn up my volume as much as possible, and I can adjust tempo as well, and I'll just select some musical notes. Bum, 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 bum. And that last note, I want it to hold a little longer, so I'll highlight it, turn it into a whole note. Let's play that. Let's start the beginning. I can even switch to a different instrument. Cool. The name of this is Melody 1. You can change that, but for now I'll just go ahead and leave it as Melody 1. You could change it to something like Wind Tune. If you do so, make sure there's no space in that name and say OK. There's my melody right there. I'm just going to leave it sitting on the desktop. If I press it, I hear that tune. And all I need to do is then put that into my win procedure. So I'm going to go up to Hide Turtle, that command, press Return so that I get a space, and type in Melody 1. Notice there's no space. So when I win, I now hear that win tune. The last thing I can do, this is a little bit bigger addition, is I can add a new page so that I go to a second hole on the golf course. I can select Pages, New Page, and add a new page that's completely blank, or I can duplicate this page and use everything I already have and then just change a few things around. Entirely up to you. Notice, however, that I'm currently on page 1. If I select Pages, Duplicate Page, everything looks the same, but I'm now on page 2. So the moment I do that, I'm actually going to change something about this so that I know visually I'm on a new page. So I'm going to change that background color to something else, and I'm going to also change that flag number to hole 2. At this point, I can once again go ahead and do some additional adjustments. For instance, I can fill in this hole and then I can recreate some completely new configuration this time. Something new and weird and different. Okay? If I do so and I cover up the flag and the hole, I'll need to redraw those as well. Completely up to you. You can even reuse this object, okay? Or you can create a new one. But currently I still have all the buttons, the slider, the melody, the ball, etc. Now, how do I move back and forth between these two pages? Well, I use these little arrow keys at the top. And I do need to tell, though, the ball that once I've won, instead of resetting the position here, then I'm going to instead go to page 2. So if I win, instead of setting the position, I'll just say page 2. Okay? And that's one other thing I may need to change, is that I'm winning on hole 1, because you're probably going to want to create a new procedure for winning on hole 2 that will either bring you back to the start or send you to a third hole, page 3. So when you make this adjustment to the win procedure, you're going to want to note that it is now winning on hole 1, and instead of resetting you, taking you to page 2. Don't forget, though, that on this hole, when you added that procedure, we had written previously win, so we need to change that to win 1. So let's see what this looks like. Now when I win, put the ball in the hole, I get the announcement, and I switch to page 2. One other fun thing that you can do is you can add a transition. If you go to Pages, Transitions, you'll notice that you can make this new page come up in kind of a cool new way. So for instance, you could push, or you could do sort of a peek through, totally up to you. If I do a push, let's see what that looks like. I'll switch back. Need to get the ball back, so let's do Show Turtle. Put it back into the hole. You win, and there's a push. And that's all there is to it. Adding new features, enhancing your game, all the kinds of things that you can do in Microworlds to take this from something cool and simple to something awesome and complex. Try to add in some of these additions into your game. Good luck.